3, 2, 1, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where I share with you, I'm scared to touch the screen, where I share with you headlines from my news feed. It's headline news. I share with you headlines from my news feed, and also sometimes on occasion, I might maybe perhaps share with you some of my thoughts. Hey, Rottweiler, share with you some of my thoughts and ideas and perspectives on those headlines based on just having read the headline, or based on having read the article or skimmed the article, or maybe just based on just living something. We might be talking about what we talking about in here. I don't know, but it's not news. It's just my notes on the news. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. How are you today? How are you? All right. What's new and good with you? What's new and good with me? I got a new breath. I'm inhaling right now and I'm exhaling, so that's good. I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm holding out so I can try to go to bed. I think I probably need to go to bed at like 10 so I could get like a decent amount of sleep. But y'all know I'm not decent, so I don't know nothing about going to bed at a decent hour. 1 hour? What you mean 1 hour? Oh, you only got 1 hour, so hurry it up. Oh, I hear you. Oh, I thought you was like, cut out all of the chit chat and get to the headlines. Okay. Daily words of the Buddha. The fever of passion exists not for one who has completed the journey, who is sorrowless and wholly set free, and has broken all ties. Oh, I get it. The fever of passion exists not for one who has completed the journey, who is sorrowless and wholly set free, and has broken all ties. So basically, hey, welcome in the chat. Thanks for the like. The concept is, hey, it's Phone Jones. Basically, the concept is, that whole like attachment and like all the highs and the lows and the upset and the joy and the upset and all of that, just be at peace and know that it's all good and it's all God. And as you do the work, you're more and more at peace with stuff. You have more and more context for stuff. You have more and more, hey, Spencer Whitelow, you have more and more perspective, and you less. And I mean, I definitely noticed that with age, some of the stuff that, as a young person, I'd have been like, oh my God, blah, 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 can you believe, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, oh, okay. Like this too shall pass. Yeah, that happens sometime. It's not really that deep. I can see, where when I was younger or a younger person might be really worked up about something, but I'm just like, okay. So that's the thing. So let us continue to do our work so we can be, just at peace. Whether, not drawn into the illusion and the BS. Okay, so let's proceed with the notes from my news feed. Alaska Airlines is joining Delta, American, and United in launching a basic economy class, but the cheap tickets come with a catch. So once you buy the tickets, you cannot change them. You have to wait till everybody else is seated, and then you get your seats. Your seats are in the back of the plane. So at first I was kind of like, so we got to sit in the back of the bus. We got to sit in the back of the plane. But then I'm like, well, first class has always been in the front of the plane for as long as I've been flying. So I always felt like I was in second class anyway. But I guess now they're creating like a steerage class. I think they're trying to compete like with Spirit Airlines. Like there are times when I've gone places that I wouldn't have gone. But I'm like, what? It only cost me $50 or $100 to get there? Okay, let's go. Let go. So I think that, like they're trying to compete with, some of these other discount airlines. And I guess I'm small. I'll fold my legs up and sit in there. I don't care. I don't be on planes like, oh, I need space to stretch out. I be on planes like to get where I'm going. So I feel like the cheaper and the quicker, the better, you know, except of course, you know, when you're flying through space and everything, you're like in the petri dish and you might get, you know, diseases and stuff. And also like your body, what does it do to your body to be moving so fast? But you know, when I'm trying to get someplace, I just be like, I want to go because I want to see like the whole world. I got to catch up with, who was it yesterday who had been to was it 34 countries in Africa? I got to read that back and write that down. Okay. So anyway, that's what's up. Why are some states still commemorating Confederate Memorial Day? Because they celebrating their heroes, and their heroes were the Confederates. Because it's America. I mean, I don't understand. What is the question? Atlanta Black Star. Why you think they commemorating Confederate Memorial Day? All right, let's keep going. Toronto van, 9 dead and 16 injured as pedestrians are hit. I didn't read the article. I'm not quite clear what's going on, but rest in peace to the 9 people who made their transition. The 16 people who were injured, you know, peace to them and their families, you know, all of the families and communities. You know, every time you hear something like a van hits pedestrians, I'm like, hey, it's the true royal family. Every time I hear something like that, I'm thinking it's some sort of like, you know, terrorist attack. Speaking of which, I was on my way to, this morning I was listening to satellite radio at like 6 in the morning. I don't know whose show it was, but I didn't realize that the Waffle House, I guess I should have realized because I knew that the guy who shot the people at the Waffle House was a white guy. Because I'm like, yeah, of course, they haven't caught him yet, although they have caught him now. But yesterday when we were talking about it, I'm like, yeah, they haven't caught him. When they catch him, they're going to give him a hamburger or something. But the guy this morning was like, all of the people who were killed, the 4 people who made their transition at the Waffle House, I think it was in Nashville, Tennessee, were black and brown people. I didn't know. And then I don't know if we talked about it yesterday, but the fact that he had been, I don't think we did talk about it. Hey, Frank G, I don't think we did talk about it, but the fact that he was the one, we might have talked about it. He was the one who had some run in at the White House, and they had, you know, he had tried to jump the fence to meet with Zero or some foolishness, and then you know, the FBI, I don't know who they is, but authorities, the feds, I don't know, but his guns were, you know, they like, he not stable enough to have guns. And you know, for them to take the guns away from somebody in this country, I mean, to me, that's like has that ever happened before? Was that like a record or something? But they took the man's guns away, and his daddy gave him a gun, and apparently that's legal in I don't know if he gave him a gun or several guns, I don't know, but that's legal. You know, your relatives can in Tennessee, I think where they are, your relatives can give you guns. Like, you know, federal government say no, or whoever say no, the authorities say no, you can't have it. But if daddy or mama or sister or brother say yes, you can, then you can. And then go on out there naked and shoot some people at the Waffle House. And then he was talking about Waffle House incidents, and I see this article running across my newsfeed here. We'll get to it later, but he said that there was a woman who was arrested at another Waffle House, I think in Alabama, he said that she was at the restaurant and they wanted to charge her for plasticware. Like, first of all, I don't understand. Like, I feel like I have been to a Waffle House. It's been probably like 800 years, but they serve you eat at the Waffle House with plasticware. They don't give you, they don't wash dishes there. I don't understand. Was she eating it? Maybe she was, but they want to charge her extra money, and she protested. She's like, no, you know, I didn't get charged extra money for, you go for takeout, you getting eggs and grits. They want to charge you for the spoon to eat your grits. And she like, no, that's not cool. And so they called the cops on her. She was I guess she thought she was waiting on the manager. They called the cops. Now, the person this morning, when he reported it, he said that the cops stripped her naked. And I was or something. In my head, I heard stripped her naked. But in this little thing I was reading earlier, or, you know, just before I came on now, it was saying that one of her breasts was exposed, which is still, they, I guess slammed her to the ground because, anybody who wants, utensils when they're paying at a restaurant, they must be, a danger to society. But anyway, so, he was talking, I didn't get to hear it because I was on my way someplace, but he was kind of talking about like this Waffle House, I'm like, what's, y'all, I mean, and it's still kind of like that, but it seemed like once upon a time, it was always some mess going on at Denny's. Like, when I was a kid, I remember watching commercials for the Denny's Grand Slam. I think it was 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, 2 pieces of bacon. All that food is nasty. Cook it home. Right. It was 2 something. But like I remember as a child, it was just like, wow, the Grand Slam. And as a teen, it was like, I remember it was just incident after incident after racist, like incidents for us at Denny's after incident. And now it's like, I'll never go to it. I mean, I wouldn't go to a Denny anyway, but I'm just saying, I'm like, who goes to Denny? Like but anyway, so yeah, so Waffle House. And then he was saying this morning that one of the women was a member of Delta, like a college student or a young professional woman. One of the men worked there at the Waffle House. I don't know, but because I haven't read any of the articles, so I guess that's the only in-depth coverage that I've heard about it. We were talking about this yesterday, George Bush hospitalized in intensive care. We weren't talking about the fact that he had been hospitalized yesterday, but I think yesterday we were talking about the fact that they were married for like 72 years. The wife made her transition, and, we were theorizing that it probably wouldn't be too long before he, made his transition. Former Real Housewife of Atlanta star Kim Zolciak skewered online after making shocking claim about racism. I didn't really think it was shocking. She said that, what I heard her say is that racism doesn't exist, or racism doesn't exist, and it didn't start existing until the internet, or some dumb. I wasn't shocked because she seemed like, an ignorant, dumb, boorish, crude, rude, piece of boo-boo kind of person. Like ignorant, just, I don't know. Woman fined over $500 after Delta Airlines, she got I don't know what the heck. So look, she got an apple. You know how like you on the plane and they like, okay, well here's your snack. And it was some sliced apples and she might have got a peanut or something like that. And so she took the sliced apples and she dropped them in her bag. She was coming from Paris to the United States. And then once she got to the States, she was going on to someplace. So she's like, okay, I'm going to take this, her story. I'm going to take these apples, put them in my bag, and I'll eat them, on my next, on my plane home. And, I don't know what that is. I can't see. And so she going through customs and the people, going through her bag and they find the apples and they like, well, was your flight to Paris expensive? Was your trip expensive? She like, sort of, kind of, maybe. I don't know what she said. And they said, well, it's about to get more expensive because you're not supposed to have these apples, money with wings. Oh, and so she's like, well, should I throw them away, or you want me to eat them? And they like, no, here's your fine for $500. This was a white woman, or she looked white to me. I'm like, dang, they fining you $500 for stuff like that. Like, technically, I guess you're not supposed to bring, produce, seeds, certain things from one country to another. It seemed a little intense to me, So I kind of feel like, so everybody watch out, don't, just be aware, be cognizant, because I figure if that's going on for her, they probably kill me for having an apple. I don't know. Oh, it is a bird. He just like worked up over a bird. And how many birds come by a day? Maybe it's a particular maybe it's a particular bird that he knows, that he has a relationship with. He got to say something to that bird. Stolen heart of French Queen consort Anne of Brittany found. I don't know if it was like literally like her heart inside of a locket, but I saw it looked like a locket or like something metal. So I don't know if it was stolen or if it was lost, but they found her heart. So go on and celebrate because I know y'all happy. Finland's basic income trial falls flat. I couldn't really tell from the article why it fell flat. There were some people who wanted to continue it. I've been really interested in this conversation of basic income. And I'm interested to hear about the experiments. There was someone who wanted to continue the experiment and expand the experiment. I think that 3,000 people were chosen, 3,000 unemployed people were chosen at random to get, I think it was like $3,000 a month, just basic income. And they wanted to expand, or one person wanted to expand it to, people who were employed as well getting some money. So when I saw the headline, I'm like, well, what's the failure? Because I figured it was going to be a propaganda story. But even when I skimmed the story, I couldn't really tell what the failure was, other than, probably some, rich white man with property and power is like, no, we want the poor people to starve, So I don't really know what the real issue was with it. GOP educator inserts himself in student's Harvard announcement with disrespectful tweet. That's a Atlanta Black Star headline. So the child, I guess it's college season. So the child posted up on Twitter, yay, something, I'm quoting, I mean, not an exact quote, yay, I got into Harvard. And congressman, like a grown, budded man, white man, posted back, oh, congratulations, was it based on merit or was it a quota? So a little young man, tweeted back or whatever, well, I'm a National Honor Scholar, I'm this, I'm that, he's an exceptional young man. And he tweeted back, so I'm assuming, it's based on merit. And I feel like, shit, all of the taxes we done paid, even the quota is merit. We done earned all of that and way more. That stuff just really is, it's kind of tiresome. And it just seems like, maybe they don't have anything better to do. Maybe that is what they do. That's their agenda. That's their work. I guess they feel like God assigned them to, do what they doing. I don't know. But go on somewhere. Uber drivers will no longer see exact location history for riders. So I guess before, when you got in the car, they could see all of the different places that you had come and gone. Like they could, which seems really like, that seems like a lot of information for a random stranger to have about me. I was kind of surprised to hear that. But I guess that's like the age of computers. Like if I get into like when I used to use cabs in New York, you get into a cab, they don't really know you from anybody. Now there was a taxi service that I used in Brooklyn. Dang, what was the name of that company? It was a car service. And the organization that I worked for, I had the car service for me because of the work that I did and because of how I moved around. But I started personally using, it was a black, I started personally using it, just because I got kind of used to, the cars, and the price was actually reasonable and it was convenient and you could schedule for the airport or schedule for whatever, So I guess they might have had some record of, kept record, but it was probably a whole bunch of pieces of paper, which is totally different from just being able to be like, oh, these are all the places that she goes. It made me feel kind of like stalkerish in a way, like, wow, what if you ran into the wrong Uber driver and then they have all this information about you that you may or may not want them to have. I don't necessarily want you to know my comings and goings just because you dropped me off one time. Dispute over 50-cent plastic utensils leads to woman being dragged to the ground, arrested at Alabama Waffle House. I think I more or less got the... Waffle House says they support police who violently arrested black woman and threatened to break her arm. Woman heads to Supreme Court over right to wear dreadlocks at work. I might be too tired for this today. Because I'm about to go. I can't, I don't have any comment. Colin Kaepernick accepts amnesty award on behalf of the countless people fighting for human rights. Congratulations, Cap. Suspected Waffle House gunman arrested in woods in Nashville. Hey, Information Man Show. Money with wings. China's sexist adverts. Tech firms apologize after damning report. So the advertisements were like, it was two things that they were saying. But one thing that they were saying was that they wanted, for the women who applied, they wanted them to be slim or trim. Like, if you fat, don't bother to apply. I love you too. You coming on with the love? All right, I accept it. So if you fat, don't bother to apply. So now they apologizing. And I mean, I'm not in China, but I just kind of feel like, sorry, not. I mean, you said, like, if you take the time to write the ad to say, I want slim people to apply or whatever, that's what you mean. It's not a, you ain't sorry. You sorry. I guess you getting some bad publicity, I guess. I don't know. What is wrong? Okay, let's keep it moving. Atlanta spends more than $2 million to recover from ransomware attack. It seemed like we talked about this maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. There was something going on where the city was having issues because of a ransomware attack. And, now when I saw that headline, I'm like, yeah, whatever happened with that? So I guess I didn't read the story then and I didn't read the story now. But, I do vaguely remember hearing that. Snoop Dogg's VC, venture capitalist firm, bets big on legal weed without actually touching the plant. We talked about his company before because remember I said I thought he was like growing weed, and then I saw, that he was investing in a company that was growing weed, and then I saw that it was a company that invests in companies that are ancillary to the weed business. So papers, pipes, that's all I can think of. Incense. When I sell incense, people are always like, you got some people. I'm like, nah, just it's I don't know what's ancillary to the weed business. Pipes, papers, ashtrays. I don't know. But lamps, grow lamps, maybe. The fertilizing dirt, maybe. But that's what he's doing. Michael Jordan actually owns 90% of the Hornets. His net worth jumps to 1.6. Weed is big in Cali. Does he live in Cali? Oh, I guess so. He's West Coast. Duh. His net worth jumps to 1.65. So we had talked about this a few weeks ago, the fact that his net worth had gone up because of his ownership in the team. And I was like, well, what percentage does he own? Does he own 10%? Is it 40? Is it 60? It's 90%. And we were also talking about it in the context of these other, sort of isolated, wealthy. Oh, in the Bay Area, I love the Bay Area. It's been many, many years, but every time I've been to the San Francisco Bay Area, I really, really enjoyed it. San Francisco and the Bay Area, I really, really enjoyed it. Only a few times, maybe like 3 or 4 times, but yeah. I like San Francisco too. I took a tour bus when I was there, and I might have done the tour bus twice. When I lived in New York, I used to do they had this river, this thing that would take you around the New York River, and I had done that like a couple of times too. Like, I like being on the water, and I don't know. And that's funny now because, I do tours of the city I'm in, but I just started doing that last year. But maybe I was really somehow like fascinated by the whole thing before I even, but I something about, but anyway, I thought San Francisco was interesting. It was expensive even then, and that was like a long, long time ago. In the Bay Area, and the last time I was in Cali, I went to San Diego, and I didn't realize I was so close to Mexico, because when I came back, somebody was like, did you get some Mexican vanilla? And I'm like, no. What, how? They like, you were right there. I'm like, really? But I was with family, so you be in their little way of moving in the world, and I didn't do any preliminary research. So he owns 90% of the Hornets. Now, I don't have the statistics, but we know that, or I shouldn't say we know, but I think that I know, I believe that that's cool. I lived in San Francisco for over 26 years, and I lived in Oakland for 10 years. Oh, wow. That region of the country is interesting. Now, I get nervous about California because of the whole, like, they get their water from a reservoir, and it's supposed to be a desert that they import the water from. The reservoir is running out of water, and I'm like, I don't understand. It seems like it's a made place, not like a real place, So So I'm kind of like, I like the like the climate, but and the when I was in San Diego, no, it's not true. That's not true. And when I was in San Diego, I went to the best food co-op. I can't remember what it was, but we got some raw berry cobbler thing. Oakland, California has the best water in Cali. Okay, let's get some education going here. Yeah, okay. That I still think about that. It was like a raw mixed berry cobbler. It was delicious. And yeah, I mean, I always like places where it's like you could see exactly what's in it, and it'd be like, oh, this is like wholesome. I could make this at home. I mean, it's nothing mysterious in there. So we know that just because Michael Jordan, who is not really our friend, but like him becoming wealthy does not really have an impact on the bulk of Black folks, and I guess less so since, hey, Rowdy Chica 59, welcome, girl, and less so since, his partners seem, I think I get the impression his partners are whiter and whiter and whiter. So, I guess he's filtering more and more of his resources and wealth, back into the white community. He does nothing for Black folks. Was it Michael Jordan's at the LA Fitness was like, no Jordans. If you come in with Jordans, you can't come in. So he's hurting. Another layer of hurting and causing hurt. That's not really hurting. I mean, that's not him, but yeah, more associated with him and his. But, like him doing well, or Jay-Z doing well, or, Obama doing well, or Oprah doing well, statistically, we're not, as a people, we're not doing better. You know what I mean? Like, so, but since we had talked about it, I was I was kind of surprised. I was surprised to see that it was 90%, because when we were talking about the rappers they were trying to go in together to jointly purchase a football team. Was it? Are football teams more expensive than basketball teams, or is it just because Jordan has done it over time? I don't really know. But they were trying to go in jointly to get a football team. So anyway, scientists grow human brain tissue in mice. So, when people get, Mike Tyson is in the weed business. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, maybe I did hear that. Now that I just said I didn't know it, I was like, wait, there's something, like some little something back there. I don't know. Were we oh no, we might have been talking about a movie that he was in that I really liked. They're not going to allow them to be able to buy it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the whole sports thing is kind of like out of my, I guess it's more and more in my consciousnness, but like, I really don't I'm like, how many teams are there? How many owners are there? Are there any Black like, it's just like the fact, the language of like owners is disturbing to me. Puffy Combs. Now you don't hear him saying a word. Puffy Combs. Isn't that Brother Natural now? Brother Peace Natural. What's his name? Natural Hair. What's his name? Something. I don't know. So scientists grow human brain tissue in mice. The few Black people that are wealthy, their wealth does not trickle down to the majority of us Black people. Should have spent more time focusing on economics, the Booker T. Washington philosophy. Well, I don't think that it's too late. Do you think that it's too late? Yeah. I mean, there has been, I mean, I feel like every time I look, study anybody, it seems like they talk about, even Martin Luther King is talking about economics. I feel like, I think that Black folks, like, there is this propaganda out there, right? We can still do it, and we are doing it. I was going to say, to me, I'm starting to believe that it's a propaganda that, like, what we need to do? We need to start businesses. I think we do start businesses. I think we've always started businesses, and like, that's like, I feel like we're entrepreneurial. We're creative. Like, everywhere I look, I see Black businesses and people starting Black businesses. I have the money to open a business. I think that the whole integration thing was a way to research, like, not like to redistribute the wealth from the black community to the white community. I think that the reason that there was like a systematic destruction of black communities, you know, like wherever you see black folks thriving, there's like a destruction of the community. We always talk about Black Wall Street, but Tulsa, Oklahoma, or the suburb of Tulsa, Oklahoma, wherever it was not the only thriving black wealthy community. And like in Detroit, we had highways go through it, but that happened throughout the country. You know, that where there were thriving black communities, you go now and it's like, you know, there's nothing there. And I think, you know, it's to their advantage for, you know, like, and Black folks are the biggest consumers, like of all the consumers, I think we're the biggest consumers, you know? So it's like to their advantage, like for us to like go spend our money with them. As soon as they pay us, you know, we go give them back the money. It's like a win-win for them. So yeah, you know, I think we have to tell me Detroit was booming until they got rid of industrial factories and the car industry, everything that hurt black people. How do you remember the Fillmore? They had all kinds of black something. Yeah, I don't remember the Fillmore. That might have been a little bit before my time. They had all kinds of black businesses. Yeah, I don't know the Fillmore. But I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, I couldn't see you, information man, but I feel like we're business. I feel like a lot of black folks are business oriented and entrepreneurial. You know, people have a hustle. Oh yes, I lived in the Fillmore for many years. People have hustles everywhere you go. I'm 52. Okay, yeah. So close, but I'll have to look up the Fillmore. You know, I feel like but I feel like it's too, my mom lives in the Fillmore. I grew up in the field more, even though I'm from back east. Oh, was the Harlem of the West Coast. Okay, I got you. So scientists grow human brain tissue in mice. So y'all know when people get like, oh, you know, do people get lung transplants? Okay, heart. Let's say we know people get heart transplants. Do people get heart? Okay, I think people get heart transplants. So you get somebody's heart put in you, and I've seen movies and stuff where you have some of the feelings, the vibrations, the consciousness, like you're connected to the person whose heart you have. Like, you know, just like they say that memories are housed in your skin. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, a certain limp or a certain way you have of moving, you know, and it's captured certain emotional things. So emotional things get lost in your tissue or trapped in your tissue too. Because you know why that makes sense? If you have a scar or something, now theoretically your whole body regenerates within a 7-year period, right? Some things quicker, you know, than 7 years. But I think in the course of 7 years, your whole body is new cells. So how come a scar continues to be there? You know, like if it's new cells, then how come it's still there? What years were you in the city? I love that. So, you know, in your tissue, and like, you know, the vibration is there. So when people get transplants from other humans, they get feelings, emotions, memories, you know, sensations or whatever of those other humans that are now connected to them. So when we're growing human brain tissue in a mouse, is it to put into humans? And like, do you then have like the vibration of mice? I mean, like, how does that work? Like, you know, I'm not talking about like on like just the mundane level or like on the, you know, the concrete, the physical, but like on the non-obvious. Like, it just seems so like a mouse. Like, I don't know. Don't put none of that in my brain. Or I don't know. Maybe it would be like, maybe I'd have some great insight and perspective, and my paradigm would shift in a way that would be like mind-blowing. Like, you know how superheroes are, like the Hulk. Didn't something happen to the Hulk? And like, you know, but like they get a whole different perspective. So maybe I become like Mighty Mouse or something. Mighty Mouse was a cartoon character. Okay, so we talked about the Toronto collision. These 26 national parks show the beauty. You saw a mice with a human ear growing on its back? Was it part of an experiment? That is really weird. That is really weird. I guess they experimenting with all kinds of stuff. So I guess you lose your ear. Because we were talking about somebody who had three face transplants the other day. So I guess you lose your ear and they give you the mouse ear. I'm going to look it up. The 26 national parks show the beauty of the American wilderness. So I didn't realize there were 26 national parks. I know that I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I've never been there. I've been to Glacier National Park. That might be the only national park I've been to. I think it is. 26 national parks. I'll have to look up the list. But, you know, one thing about this country, like as I've moved a little bit throughout the world, you know, and as I've moved a little bit throughout the country, I lived in the city. Oh, y'all talking born in Arizona. Arizona. As I've moved through the country, it makes me more curious to see more of the country and like how different, you know, it is in different places. Yeah. So 26 national parks. I'm sure somebody knew, but not me. I'm like, who knew? Not me. A U.S. veteran who survived blast in Afghanistan receives first penis and scrotum transplant. No, I did not know that national parks were owned by foreign entities. I really don't know much about the national parks. I can't even remember now why I went to Glacier National Park. Oh, I know that, or I shouldn't say, but I heard Zero was trying to do, oh, I was in the hate. Okay. I know that Zero was trying to like sell off, you know, some of the park's land or some of the protected land because to some corporations to get money or oil or some, you know, I don't know, you know, I wasn't paying close attention because I figured it was just a way for him to get money. And, you know, his whole perspective is screw everybody else. You know, so, okay, speaking of transplants, so he got a penis and a scrotum transplant. Whose penis and scrotum does he have? Does he have like is it? Okay. Police tried to unlock phone with dead man's finger in Florida. That seems like that would be illegal. The person made their transition and they were trying to get information from his phone, and so the person is and I think the person is dead. Let me see if this is somebody that they okay, we'll come back to that. A wounded soldier. Harlots, one of my favorite shows, gets season 2 premiere date on Hulu. And I think it's in July. It may be May, but I think it's in July. Oh, you read about that? The scrotum? No. Oh, no. Linus Phillips. This is a picture of him with his child. Oh, my gosh. 30-year-old Linus Phillips was killed by a Largo police officer last month after authorities say he tried to drive away before an officer could search him. At the funeral home, 2 detectives held the man's hands up to the phone's fingerprint sensor but could not unlock it. That is so disrespectful and disgusting. His fiance says she felt violated and disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. Law professor said the dead people can't assert their Fourth Amendment protections because you can't own property when you're dead, but those rights could apply to whoever inherits his property. I'm looking forward to seeing Harlots. Voter redistricting, U.S. Supreme Court to hear third case of term. You know, these lines, that is the cave beast nature. It is. And it's just really, it's disgusting and it's disturbing and, you know, I don't know. I feel like it kind of makes you, like some of that stuff make you want to go take a bath. And I mean like a literal bath, a spiritual bath, an emotional bath. It's like, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, it's like when you in proximity to people, you know, like your partners, your friends, your family, you know, it's you absorbing. You know what I mean? And like it's like we close to a lot of like crazy stuff. And it's I need to I'm gonna put some lemon in my water before I go back upstairs. It's challenging. Trump's new CDC chief earns $375,000, almost double his predecessor's pay. A bold 12-year-old ran a detox. Yeah, but it's like a regular detox and like a protection. Like it's like I gotta, like I have a friend who used to do massages, and and when I do readings, there's a way that I ground myself before I deal with people so that I can be of service, but without, kind of absorbing. But it's kind of like if I'm going into a reading, or like if she's going into a massage, okay, I'm going into a reading, I'm going into a massage, and you can like ground yourself. You can, prepare yourself. You can, but it seems like it's like, I don't know, like 24/7 shielding or something is required. I guess shielding, detox, I don't know. I need to process it because it's a lot. Epsom salt baths are good for that too. Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because literally yesterday I was looking at my Epsom salts and I'm like, I haven't had a bath, like an Epsom salt bath, in a long time, and probably too long. Like, tarot, astrological, I mean, I study, but I'm not, I feel I've probably been doing it for 10 or 15 years. Look, I'm like, I've only been doing it for 10 or 15 years, but I don't consider myself like it's just, it's just when I'm assigned to do it, I do it. Epsom salt baths are the best. Yeah, I probably need to at least go soak my feet tonight as we're talking about it, because I sure was looking at it and thinking about it. So a bold 12-year-old ran away from home and treated himself to a luxury vacation in Bali with his parents' credit card. I think he was coming from Australia. So how did he get on the plane without an adult? How did he get on the, what are Epsom salt baths good for? Oh, y'all are talking to Mother Nature. Well, I mean, definitely they're good, like they're physically good for releasing tension. I know that. And I've used them just in spiritual baths with, with herbs and essential oils and stuff, as like a like a foundation. I use salt. So that's, but other people jump in too. So how did so he got on the plane, he bought a ticket. I can see how you could do some things on the internet, but when you present yourself at the airport and you're 12 years old, how do you get on who let him on the plane? Soreness in your muscles, and soothes you. Was he white? He's an Australian. I think he was white. Is that how he did it? He just said, I'm a white man in training. Shut up and put me on the plane. The unnamed 12-year-old boy. He doesn't like the word no, his mother explained to an interviewer at a current affair. He had only a backpack and a scooter in hand. He took a train. He told his parents he was leaving for school. I'm assuming he's white. I don't know. I'm assuming that he's white, or white, appears to be white. Video, Harvard students protest brutal police beating. I do not feel safe. Victims of senseless Waffle House shooting remembered as suspect remains at large, may be armed, so we know they caught him. Janet Jackson is extending her State of the World tour. I've never been to a Janet Jackson concert. I've never even thought about getting tickets. Beyond none of them. I don't know. It's like not in my, it's just not in the, I don't know. Y'all going to see Janet Jackson? Am I missing? I still think that I have, when I went to that, I went to a Mighty Sparrow concert. Somebody took me to a Mighty Sparrow concert, and I don't like Calypso, but I was kind of like, just awed. Lasso tea. Okay. It's great for detox and it kills parasites. So when I went to the concert, I was kind of like, I'll go because I'm up for an adventure. It's like traveling someplace new, but I don't really like calypso. And it was an excellent, wonderful, wonderful, great. It was an excellent, excellent, wonderful, wonderful, great concert. So I'm thinking I might like go to a Janet Jackson concert or a Beyonce concert and be like, yes. But I guess I'd have to get over the hump and go or whatever. And I just can't imagine that. But anyway, for those of you who care, she is extending her State of the World tour. Racist protesters disgrace Ida B. Wells' gravesite with Confederate flags. I have no idea where Ida B. Wells' gravesite is. You know what I was thinking this morning about Zero talking about he's thinking about pardoning Jack Johnson. Was it Jack Johnson, that was the boxer, like from back in the day it was something with him and white women. I can't really remember. When I heard the name, I immediately knew who it was. But I'm kind of like, Zero doesn't seem to me like the kind of person who knows, like he doesn't seem like how is that person's name even in his consciousness? And like, I'm like, as a black person, I'm not checking for that for him. I'm not saying I don't care, but that's not high up on he don't read, so I feel like that makes me think that they're defacing Ida B. Wells' gravesite. Like they went to Mother Emanuel Church and killed people there. These are places that are actually like the Mother Emanuel is significant in our history. It's not just like a random church. AME churches are significant, and that particular AME church is significant. Ida B. Wells, that's not just some random grave that they're, defacing. Jack Johnson, I don't know why I'm like blanking on the man's name, but he can't talk, he can't spell, he can't read. He don't have a heart, he don't have a soul. But you can talk, you can read, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, we're wonderful, we're loving people, we're powerful, we're winning, we stay winning. But I'm like, it seems like there's probably in certain circles, it's coming to my consciousness, there are certain people that they're aware of that, because I'm like, it's like of all the people in Black history to know him, he didn't even know. I mean, yeah. So yeah, why are they going to Ida B. Wells? Right, he didn't even know that he was the head colonizer in charge of Puerto Rico. The ignorance and the arrogance of some people and the beauty and wonderfulness of others. Again, the legacy, I feel like you can't deface the legacy of Ida B. Wells. Like you can't break our spirit. I don't know if you heard me talking the other day about the man who, Sir Hilary Beckles was talking about, 1,000 ways that he's working on a book. I think it was like 1,000 ways to torture enslaved Africans or something. I can't remember what it was called. But what was interesting to me about that was this idea that, all of the ways in which we resist, and we just resist and we resist and we resist. And it's like this idea of trying to break our spirit. You can't break our spirit. You know what I mean? And every time, like our ancestors are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and have more and more ways to support us and help us and more insight and wisdom to share with us. So like we come from royal stock, right. And like, not to say, like I feel like someone's, but I feel like I understand, that I feel like the spirit of our ancestors are in all of us. And so, you do that and you educate more and more of us about who Ida B. Wells was and inspire more and more of us. Ida B. Wells did research on lynching. Is that who Ida B. Wells was? Was she a journalist? I'm really kind of I'm a little tired today. So let me just put this in the record. Yeah, journalist, okay. Early founder of the civil rights movement. But I think she did a lot of research on yeah, anti-lynching. Right. She's the one who sort of peep game that, yeah, they saying, oh, we lynched this person because they, was recklessly eyeballing a white person, but it's economics. Back to what we were talking about earlier. She was the one, if I understand correctly, as she researched, it was like situation after situation after situation of economically thriving Black folks who were being lynched, of economic competitors. Like, I have a Black general store and you have a white general store, and I'm having, like, you want my clients to be your clients, so you have, so I'm lynched, like the economic motive behind a lot of the lynchings. So yeah, rest in peace, rest in power, Mama Ida. We love you. We thank you for your work, and may more of us stand up and do the work and tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Some people just, like, some of these, this just seems like immature and silly to me. Like, and, I don't know. Like, it's like, I see you. I see you. Like, you ain't fooling nobody. Student attacked after racist assignment about positive aspects of slavery goes viral. I tried to skim the article, but I couldn't figure out if the student was attacked because they were like, slavery was good, or if they were attacked because they were like, slavery is bad. But this was one of those assignments where the children were, their teacher was teaching them and had them exploring and, figuring out all the positive things about the enslavement of Africans. Syracuse fraternity expelled over racist video. A second clip emerges. I didn't really look into what the second clip was, but in the first clip, they were like, I vow, I'm being sworn into the fraternity. It's an engineering fraternity, and I vow to hate NIGGERs forever. And it was some, but I think I saw here where they were like beating up someone who was like differently abled or disabled or whatever language you want to use. So when the first video came out, like yesterday in the article, they were like, oh, it was just a joke. It was satirical. It was satire. We didn't mean it. So anyway, now more, some more stuff came out. The Mexican peso keeps sliding. Oh, you don't have to call me out. Welcome on the chat. The Mexican peso keeps sliding as the country's presidential race heats up. I haven't been paying any attention to the Mexican presidential race, so I don't even know what's going on. An airline is going to pay two friends $4,000 each per month to move to Iceland and travel the world, accommodations included. And what did you say when he... Yeah. So I don't necessarily want to go to Iceland, but I was really excited to see that because I can imagine somebody being like, yeah, I want to pay. You said, hell no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. We're not going to practice that. We're not going to practice that. No. I could see somebody, it's like I like to visualize somebody saying, oh, I want to pay you, $4,000 a month to travel, and, I got your accommodations and your food. So I like that story because, it's inspiration. You were shook. You were shocked. Was it a white teacher? Was it a Black teacher? It's interesting that they asked because a lot of the stories I see is like the parent finds out or the parents find out after the fact, I'm talking about 2 months ago, a white teacher. We were talking about 2 months ago about a white family whose child was in a play and they were like playing like the protesters who were like, we go away Negroes, go away Negroes. And the white parents were really upset. They're like, nobody asked for my permission. If they had asked for my permission, I would say no. It was recorded, it was videotaped. You know, I don't know if they're concerned that that might come back on their child, you know, 40 years from now. People will be like, see, this is what they, you know, like, but they didn't ask them. Like, it seems like they usually don't ask the people in advance, you know. I don't like the whole school situation. I'm not a fan. South African women win Goldman Prize for stopping nuclear deal. Americans are avoiding romaine lettuce after an outbreak, and it reveals one of the most dangerous grocery store habits. So I did get some lettuce. You know, I think it's been like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 months since I've gotten any lettuce from the store. But this is so, because, you know, it's like you just keep hearing about outbreak after outbreak after outbreak. And, you know, when you're eating stuff raw, it's like there's no like opportunity. Like if you lettuce, I'm not cooking my lettuce. Eggs is on that list too. But all of these packaged in plastic, we've been talking about plastics, all of these packaged in plastic, pre-cut up salads, fixing, mixes things. Leafy greens, specifically those so pre-washed, are one of the riskiest foods when it comes to food poisoning. They talking about E. coli and other forms of, you know, sicknesses. So lazy, you know, getting that stuff that's like chopped up already. But, you know, I guess I kind of feel like, yeah, those convenience foods, I don't know if I'm lazy. I might be a little lazy, gosh. But, I mean, those convenience foods, it's not convenient when your behind has salmonella or E. coli or whatever. Like the convenience, you know, you kind of, something gets lost in translation. So, yeah, I mean, but I like the idea of convenience food. But usually, you know, the cost of it kind of like is what gets me most of the time, because I'm like, what? I'm paying for them to cut, you know, like it would only, so, you know, it's kind of like you know, you pay a premium for the convenience, and I'm usually like kind of like not excited about the premium that I'm paying for. Like even when I go out to eat, I'm like, what? Because it's so nasty. These diseases caused by lettuce come from those who are picking it in the field and not washing their hands. See, I don't know about that. I think that it's because it's a mass-produced thing, and it's a big factory production, you know, like, and so I think it's sort of like, that's where they said it happens. Yeah. And I think when it's like, when, you know, when it's more intimate and it's your community, the way you handle things is different from when you're handling something. It was reported a while back. Yeah. Well, we've been talking about it, you know, because we've been talking about it for a while. But I think it's the whole factory thing, you know, like the cut up, like managing, like, you know, when you make food for your family in your home, that's a whole different thing than cooking in a restaurant, you know. And like when you're working a job and something drops on the floor, you may be like, whatever, and pick that stuff up and feed it to somebody. But when you're feeding your family, you're like, oh, this is my family who I love. So you might not want to just give them dirt up off the floor or whatever. You know what I mean? Although, you know, I've watched people cook for, you know, their friends and family, and some of the habits that people have are kind of surprising to me. But yeah, okay. So just, you know, yeah, convenience is not so convenient. I think that now that I'm in, that's the problem. It's picked with contaminated hands in the fields and then goes to processing and never properly cleaned first, because it's supposed to be triple washed. Now what they're washing it with, I'm curious about, because, you know, like in a lot of products, things aren't fully disclosed. Like in orange juice, they tell you it's just oranges. It's just oranges, but they have these flavor packs and these chemicals and all of these other things that they use that they don't have to like write on the list of what the ingredients are. So I'm like, what are they washing that stuff with? You know, like these baby carrots are washed in some kind of chemical bath, you know, peeled and washed, and like, you know, but theoretically those chemicals, they can't kill. I mean, you know, I don't know, but I'm not, as I guess the more we're talking about it, yeah. I usually don't get up the cut up. I don't usually get the cut up raw lettuce. I have gotten that cut up kale. I stopped going to whole. I got to get a place where I can get me some good greens because I stopped going. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Canadian lynched in Peru as locals accused him of murder. So I think he's made his transition. Was using sewer water? The haves and the have-nots will be back on May 1st. I missed this whole cycle of the haves and the have-nots. How were they using sewer water? Were they like gathering it out of the sewer? Did they have a faucet connected to? How you use sewer water? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That's disgusting. Oh, Lord. Sean Hannity reportedly amassed multi-million-dollar real estate holdings from foreclosures and help from the housing department. Corporate welfare for the rich white men with property and power because, they need so much help and they're so, they're in need of the public resources. Georgia police used KKK law against neo-Nazis. Neo-Nazi protesters at racist rally. I can't remember what the law was. It was some KKK law where you can't have your face covered. I guess they had put this law into place back in the day. I think they never stopped. Had put the law into place in the 40s or 50s. And so I guess now the neo-Nazis or whatever they're called are now using masks and stuff. So they use that law to break up some protest. A photo of teens kneeling for a funeral procession has gone viral. I haven't seen the photo, and I couldn't really figure out, like from when I skimmed the article, I couldn't exactly figure out, like a funeral procession went by, the teens spontaneously kneeled. I don't know if it was like a black person. I wasn't really clear what was going on, but I wanted to know more about it, so maybe I will. Yemen war, Saudi-led airstrike on wedding kills 20. So they're saying that, 20 people were killed at a wedding that's as part of like warfare. Like, we were talking the other day about like the rules of war. Like, so you killing people at weddings now? Like men and women and children, like at weddings? Okay. CBS football analyst apologizes for gun photo on daughter's prom night. We talked about that. Ellen DeGeneres to Van Jones, as a white person, I'm ashamed. Oh, I think, did we loop back? Yeah, we looped back to yesterday's. So I guess I didn't write down what I ate yesterday. Dang, I'm getting sloppy with my record. But this is day 3 of my, and within the next 10 days or, within a 10-day period. And this is, did he start crying? I don't even know what I said about Van Jones now. Within a 10-day period, I'm going to spend $10 at least with 10 Black-owned businesses. It doesn't have to be, different Black-owned businesses, or it doesn't have to be my money. I could be like, hey, you come on over here and buy this book from this Black business. Coon Van Jones. 10, 10, 10. Tenny 10 10. I didn't know how to spell Tenny 10 10. So that's what I'm working on. Yesterday we did get and I need to pull it out of the feed from yesterday, but someone came across a database where there are Black businesses, and I'm sure there are more than one, because my little brother does one here in Detroit. So I have that somewhere in my consciousness. But dang, what is this? I guess I need to look it up and pay attention. Maybe I'll donate some money to him. So yesterday we got a couple of businesses that people had, a couple of coffee shops I think that people had been to. So if anybody wants to drop in the feed or in the link any good Black businesses that you're patronizing, or where you are, if you've accepted the challenge and where you are in the challenge, who you spending money with, how you spending money, who your favorite Black business is and why. African continent. Yes, I feel Van Jones is a coon too. I keep saying I'm gonna look up this word coon, cause y'all show be I feel like it has a whole different connotation, or a whole, it's like it's like a bigger concept. He cries too much on TV for my taste. That's how I used to feel about, who was that? When I used to pay attention to the Pistons, there was this player, and he was always forever crying. And then he went on, and he has tattoos all over his body. He's Kim Jong Un's friend. He might have dated Madonna or something. I couldn't stand him. You know, with all that crying, it just got on my nerves. Van loved the cave beast. Yeah, Rodman. That would really get on my nerves. But that was before he was so, like, he became very dang, I'm trying to find my list of African countries. Cuz we did is it Benin? Is that the next country we're talking about today? Somebody said Benin, Congo, and I'm like, is that the order? Algiers is what we did yesterday, right? Totally different meanings. Do white people even say coon? It seems like now that I'm starting to hear it so much, like I'm getting like this more, like my perception of it is like shifting. Algeria. Oh, Angola. Angola. What do you know about Angola? Has anybody been to Angola? Angola. So what we're doing is every day, or, you know, as much as we can, as much as time allows, we're focusing on one country a day. We started a couple days ago with the African continent at writ large. It's not an in-depth study. It's not like anything, you know, it's just like kind of a casual conversation, just a little bit of exploration, increasing our knowledge and comfort and awareness of the African continent. Angola is a southern African nation whose varied terrain encompasses tropical Atlantic beaches, a labyrinth system of rivers, and sub-Saharan desert that extends across the border into Namibia. The true name for Africa is Alkebulan. We have an Alkebulan village here. You know, there are so many different people who have so many different names that they refer to Africa as. I think the true name is different for different people. A country in it's the 7th largest country in Africa. It's bordered by Namibia to the south, the Democratic Republic of Congo to the north, Zambia to the east, and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. The capital and largest city in Angola is Luanda. I've never even heard of Luanda. So this is the flag. The country that we did yesterday, Algiers, had like you can't see it, can you? Had a moon and the stars. So it's red at the top, black on the bottom, and then it's like a gold moon, star, and sword. And the moon is sort of, it might not be a moon. It might be some other type of symbol. But this is where it is on the actual continent, if you can see that. So it's like, I send my oldest daughter to Senegal for 3 weeks. Oh, do you have family in Senegal? One of the women in the show that I'm doing, her son's father is Senegalese. So her son's father, and I think her daughter too, but they go back and forth and spend time with their dad who's in Senegal. So that seems kind of exciting. I have a friend who spent time in Senegal. Was molded by Portuguese colonization. has vast mineral and petroleum reserves. Its economy is among the fastest growing in the world, especially since the end of the Civil War. However, the standard of living remains low for most of the population, and life expectancy in Angola is among the lowest in the world, while infant mortality is among the highest. Economic growth is highly uneven, with most of the nation's wealth concentrated in a disproportionately small sector of the population. That seems like an issue throughout the world. It's a member of the United Nations, OPEC, the African Union, the Community of Portuguese Language Countries. I didn't even know that there was a Community of Portuguese Language Countries. I wonder if Brazil is a part of that. Southern African Development Community. Okay. So, Angola-Cuba Declaration. What's that? Togo? Yes, Togo. Yes, Togo what? Wait. What is Togo? The Angola-Cuba Declaration of 1984, signed 19 March 1984 in Havana by President Jose Eduardo dos Santos of Angola and Fidel Castro, the premier of Cuba. The two countries agreed to the withdrawal of Cuban forces from Angola after the withdrawal of South African troops from Angola and Namibia, and after UN Security Council Resolution 435 on Namibian independence was strictly applied. My husband's family is from Portugal. Oh, okay. Now, Portugal seemed like it was like a real intense presence at the beginning of the colonial, like the colonization of Africa. And then it seemed like we're Africa and African people. And then it seems like it's not so much, you know, like it seems like the French and British, and I guess the Spanish too, like really, really got into the business in Portugal. I mean, Brazil is a big place, but Portugal, not so much. Cuban intervention in Angola. Okay, so that's it for me. I made it. Y'all didn't have to see me die on the live. But I'm going to go upstairs and rest. I guess announcement, if you were looking for A Black Man's Journey live conversation, it's postponed until tomorrow at 9. So go to Yapo Yapa to look for the link, and you can, great broadcast, Angela, as always, right? Okay, so go to Yapo Yapa to look for the link, and you can see Yapo Yapa. If you drop down the live stream chat, you can find his name and link to him by clicking on the chat in most screens, or, you know, put it in your browser. Thank you so much for being here. We could have all been. Thank you. It's not my first hangout. Oh, my best friend's wedding. So are we going to do that for movie night? I haven't seen it. I can't be watching no movie. I'm going to fall asleep. I'll probably be watching YouTube mess. But we could have been anywhere. Oh, me. Yes, welcome. It's so nice to have you here. I didn't realize this was your first time. Nah. Why? Because we have to watch old janky science fiction movies. Why can't we compromise? We don't watch two old, terrifying, awful, demoralizing, depressing movies. Can we have something fun? You could have been anywhere in the world, any place, and we were all here together. So that's a blessing, and I'm thankful for it. As we move out, thank you for sharing the word Yapo. I always appreciate it, and welcome. So as we go out, you know, just stay conscious that you are blessed and you are a blessing. You are loved and appreciated. You are fabulous and wonderful and royal, as you said, Mama. So, you know, go out and make it, and go out and enjoy it, and be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous, you. Because nobody else can do it but you. Peace.